people, how are you? I hope you're doing great, and yeah, very soon we are going to see the third season of Stranger Things, so yeah, I'm very happy because I love this series, as I said previously, and I have to say that just now I just ended this book. It's the second one, it's Stranger Things, Darkness on the Edge of Town, and it's written by Adam Christopher. And I have to say that as much as I love the first one, this second one was a bit on the male side for me because I found it to be quite slow and very predictable, and I don't know, it was kind of on the thrillery side, but not so much. And yeah, I'm going to put it into perspective. What happens in this book is that it's Christmas, it's snowing heavily, and Eleven is with Jim at the house, and she's bored because she cannot go outside because of all of the snow and everything. So she begins asking Jim about things about his past because she says that he knows almost everything about her, where she comes from, her abilities, what she has gone through, her friends, and so on, and she barely knows anything about him. So she begins asking him about Vietnam, but Jim is not comfortable telling her what he's gone through when he was in Vietnam. And so he was also an inspector in New York, so Eleven begins asking him about that, and he begins retelling or telling this story about what happened in New York. He tells that when he came back from Vietnam, he didn't feel like he fit in Hawkins, so he took his wife and his daughter and moved to New York because he felt that he could help people better in New York because there was more need of policemen and all of this kind of things in New York in that time. So there is this story of a kind of a serial killer that begins doing this very kind of very ritualistic murders in which he always leaves like a card on the bodies, and he begins inspecting and he began to work in order to know who is the killer, and he's also paired with a woman called Delgado. And well, I'm not going to say much more about that, but let's say that well, he's telling the story of what happened with all these ritual assassinations, and when he was following the killer, he's telling that story to Eleven, but he's also telling it to us. And while the idea could have worked, for me it kind of didn't, because as I say, the book was very slow. The first one was also slow, but there was a lot of action going on, but in this one there's like, it lacks a lot. It's a lot of talking, a lot of description, but it really lacked movement and a bit more of action. And I don't know, for me it was like, I don't know, I was expecting a lot about this book because I love Jim Hopper. He's one of my favorite characters in the series, and I was expecting it to be more tension filled, more profound, because you know, his wife and his daughter are there, and in the series they are not, and I was kind of hoping that we are going to know what's happened to them, and we don't. And also the thriller part of the book about who is doing the killings and why it's doing the killings, it's a little on the side, because it for me it wasn't convincing how it was portrayed. The abilities that person has to make everyone do what he wants. I'm not making any spoilers. It's said in almost the beginning of the book that seems like there is someone who knows can control people. It doesn't get explained in a way that I can believe. It's more like it's hinting that this person has these abilities, but it never really makes sense for me. I'm not going to say more about it, but if you have read the book and if you think that you know how he does that, or if you agree with me, you can hit me in the comments and we can talk about it. But I was a bit on the skeptical side because it didn't make sense to me, because okay, I understand what they were hinting at here, how he was supposed to control people, but no, it didn't work for me. And also there was times I read a traduction on this one, so I didn't read the English one, I read the Catalan version, and there were lots of redundancy in the book. So I don't know if the original is like that, or if it's just because it's something that happened in the traduction. But yeah, for me it was, I don't know, I didn't enjoy this book as much as I wanted. I ended this book because I wanted to know what happened with Jim, and I wanted to know if there was going to sorry, I wanted to know if something was going to happen with his family and all of that. But you know, I just couldn't exactly like this one. It's not that I hate it, but just that I don't like it. I was expecting more. Maybe it's because Jim is one of my favorite characters, and I love the interaction he has with Eleven on the series. But in here, it was also kind of weird because I don't know. They have these page names. Hey, cutie. I don't know. It didn't feel real like the series. I don't know. If you're a fan of the series and want to know more about Jim Hopper, this book is for you. But don't expect to know something big or revealing about him. Not like the first book that we know how Eleven's mother came to be in the place where she is in the series, and we have all this amazing backstory. This one, if we know it, it's better, but if we don't, we are not losing any kind of information because it doesn't have any relationship with what's going on in the TV series. But still, it's a good backstory just to know what he was doing when he wasn't in Hawkins and was in New York. But yeah, it was a little for me. So if you have read this one, just if you want to talk about it, just hit me in the comments. I have to say that if there is more books coming, I'm going to read them because I am enjoying to having this back look or back stories or whatever you want to call them. So I'm expecting the third one, and I'm going to read it, and I hope I enjoy it as well as I did the first one. So thank you for watching. Bye!